All right, everyone. Thank you for coming to this 25th webinar. And today I have Diana Betancourth. She is what I say, a unicorn in the cleaning world. I met her in Chicago a few weeks ago in an event, cleaning and cocktails event. And I was really surprised about her story and how she's been growing her company. And also she happens to be a Colombian fellow, and I really like that part as well. So I wanted to bring her to you guys and share about her story and how she got started. And so welcome, Diana. Thank you for coming to today's webinar.
Thank you. Hello, everyone.
Thank you, Diana. So let's get started with your story and how you got started in the cleaning and the commercial cleaning world in New York. Really want to hear that.
Okay. I started in 1999 when I first came to this country. I
Okay.
didn't speak any English, so I started going to school, and I needed a job that could provide me with the flexibility of doing my schoolwork at the same time. Didn't speak English, so I needed something that
Mm-hmm.
can help me. I started doing construction cleanups for a company.
Okay.
I was gonna jump ship.
I'm sorry, I think I hear.
Yeah, I just muted her.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
so I started that's how I chose the to start cleaning, and I started cleaning construction cleanups in Jersey City. That was an area that was being developed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I met some regional managers, and they started offering me, just giving me the opportunity to bid in the commercial area instead of doing the apartments, do more common areas. So I
Okay.
took the opportunity. I was able to hire my first employee within the first year. And then it just, that manager started growing with other companies, and then it's just word of mouth. I was pretty new in that area, so it started growing really quickly from there.
Okay. And what caught your eye from really commercial cleaning versus residential cleaning? Because that's a big debate. Sometimes people ask us a lot is, should I start a residential or should I start commercial? And I said, I don't know, pick your poison because both are very hard. But do you have any advice for those people that are kind of trying to decide?
I think in commercial, you definitely have more competition because to say is the easiest way is the easiest part of the cleaning. You hire people, they go to a building, they have the same schedule. There's no really logistics. So there's
Mm-hmm.
more competition, and that more people can do that. More
Okay.
companies can offer that service. So when you do the turn service, the apartment service, that residential part, but it's
Hmm.
also tied to the commercial, right? Because you're doing the apartments that are vacant, or that is really hard. It's just to be able to make money
Mm-hmm.
when you're giving one set price for a big contract. And and I think the mentality I always had was, you're going to lose with some and gain with the other ones.
Okay.
And being able to not always think about win, 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 but I win, my client wins, my employee, my team wins as well. So sometimes I will make not money on one apartment, but I will make it on another one. And then the following year, my client saw how hard we were working, how
Mm-hmm.
committed we were, and would approve a higher price. And
Oh,
that
wow.
came with time. So building, not start, I guess the word is not to start so greedy that your clients see that you always want to win and you never want to lose. I think that made a difference for me. It became like a loyalty, a
Wow.
mutual loyalty with the clients.
I've noticed that one of the things that um, made me move away from commercial is that there's always that competition of per square feet, dollar per square feet, or cents per square feet. Is that still going on today in the commercial space? That competition?
I don't bill by square foot. I bill by the hour.
Okay.
So if I go to visit a property and I can see they have to give me a scope of work. What do you expect from us? Oh, we want you to clean the lobby, clean the bathrooms, and remove the trash, remove the recycle, bring it down. So I have to see, because I've done the job, because I was a cleaner, I know
Mhm.
already how long it will take me to do that work or how many
Right.
people. And I always try to go really high because remember, they're always going to try to lower your budget. So if I think I can do it for 80 hours, right? I'm giving you an example here,
Right.
but I can try to get 120 or 140. I always go high. I always try to say the more people you have, the better quality you're going to have within. And then most of the time, they always try to, no, that wasn't approved. We approved
Hmm.
less, but it could be done. Just if you can get more, the more you can get, the better. And that's going to be a steady income that you
Right.
get because those are year contracts. So I always do it by the hour. I don't do it by the square foot. I don't know how it used
Look.
to be back then.
Oh, okay. Cool. Just wondering. All right, cool. Let's move on to explaining the process that you've used to hire, recruit employees to get to the size that you guys are now. What's been that consistent process that keeps you bringing in new people? Because I'm sure that at that amount of employees, a percentage leaves, but you have to also bring a lot of new people, correct?
Correct. One of so from the beginning, of course, things have changed. We at the beginning we used to just hire family members, whoever was able to go and help us.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more demanding our clients got by asking us, certain requirements from the schedule or the properties were far, we will try to connect with smaller cleaning companies within that area and asking them for labor, right? So
Okay.
like I was saying, for me, one of the keys of success in any level is not just winning yourself, it's win-win. So
Mm-hmm.
by providing work for other companies, you are able to keep your client happy, still make money, but providing work for a smaller company. So they grow, you grow, and your client is happy.
That's a great idea, definitely. Yeah, in the residential world, we don't really think about much of sending other companies to clean our
It's
clients.
different.
It's very different, but in the commercial space, I'm sure it's because you don't really care who comes into the building, right? As long as the job is done, you don't care if Maria or Jose did the job. It's just it's a done. It's a complete or no.
Believe it or not, they do care because even though it's commercial, it's a residential building. So
Okay.
these are people homes. But at the same time, if you don't want to just win it all for yourself, but you're also sharing it with another company. And this company is the one. So I look at it as I'm doing the sales. It's my face there, right?
Hmm.
Doing the sales, getting the contracts, but then I'll go and I can hire a Maria's cleaners or another company, and they are going to put their heart and soul too because they want to grow. But maybe, and I'm not saying this applies for everybody, but maybe they're just not great at sales, right? But then if they attach themselves to a bigger fish, they can grow as well, which is the same thing I did. I
That's
attached
true.
myself to a bigger fish who was my clients, and I wasn't great at certain things, but I learned in the process. So I had
Mm.
companies that used to work, like I hire them and then they ended
Running
up
home right
hiring
now,
me.
okay? She's gonna take a shower and dinner.
Oh,
All
sorry, the
right?
water. Hold on. I don't know why people are entering unmuted. Please stay muted, guys. Okay, so yeah, I heard that concept of by piggybacking or attaching to a bigger fish and really grow. And I think that's very smart. I wish we could apply it in the residential space, but uh, just two different worlds, definitely. All right, let's move on here to. Okay, we were talking about recruiting. So you say you bring people, family members, but now let's dive deeper into that process. So I apply to your company. I'm interested in working for you guys. What do I expect? What is the experience of the applicant or the candidate when they apply to your company? How is that different from maybe other companies, or what is that process to really say, I want to work with Babco only, not with anybody else? Can you share more about that, Diana?
So are we, if we're, I think commercial and residential is different,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's got to be like a different hiring process. When I started, and I used to do just residential, I never did commercial at the beginning. It was, maid service.
Mm-hmm.
I I just had to bond with the person, and like I believe that having your company's values very established, know what is important to you, so the day you interview in the person, you tell them straightforward what are the company values. And sometimes if people don't agree with what you're saying, they might feel uncomfortable, and you have that energy. You feel that. So for me is humanity, sustainability, and quality, right? So I explained to them why humanity is important to me. I would like them to, and I tell them, and my staff knows, we love animals. So when we interview someone, I make sure that they're going to be treating the animals correctly, right? Because they're representing you. They're going to
Right.
be in people's homes. So those basic questions about your values, what's important to you, that you always want to tell your clients. You always want your clients to perceive you as that kind of company. So that
Right.
has to be very clear. You need to, it works in maid service. So if you tell them from the beginning, this is what is important to me, and just I will put it on t-shirts, I will put it on the van, I will put it like, these are the values, the company values. If people don't align with that, then they're not part of your team, because
Right.
you're representing you. You're sending these people to other people's homes, right? It's their home, is the most
Right.
important thing.
Right.
So whatever is important to you, and those values should be clear to the person you hire in. So I will tell them what's clearly important for me. Then
Mm-hmm.
after that, they will apply, right? With applications, normal applications, W-4. And now we provide direct deposit, so they don't have to worry about the check. If they don't want the money in their bank account, but they want the actual check, we make sure they get it. And I always make sure that the experience with that part, it's
Mm-hmm.
important for me. Like, make sure that if you tell them you're paying on Tuesday, pay on Tuesday. Like, don't
Definitely.
play with their money. That is so I even had because I was doing at the beginning, when I was doing residential, it wasn't that bad. But when you start commercial, you sometimes don't get paid for 45 to 60 days.
Oh, wow.
So yes, and you still have that payroll, right? So I had to get a home equity loan to be able to help with my payroll for the first few years. I want to say
Right.
like the first 7 to 10 years, because the more you grow,
Wow.
the bigger the payroll, and at the beginning it's more expensive, so it's really tough. But just make sure that the experience, and always talk to them about your company,
Right.
because sometimes they don't even know, like, oh, I didn't know that, like, I didn't know this is your company. Like, tell them, okay, the name of my company is Maria's Cleaning, and this is what is important for us. Our clients are important, their families are important, and we want to make sure you feel part of our team. If there's anything I can do to help you, like, just always have that conversation with them, so they feel welcome.
Wow. Pretty cool. Definitely a lot of commitment uh, to be able to get, line of credit to pay payroll. That is something that I think kept me out of the commercial world, is that Yeah, on residential, there's really no cash flow issues because
issues.
you get paid that same day that you clean. But
Hmm.
obviously, you are chasing, $100, $200 per sale versus, you have contracts that, represent thousands of dollars or hundred thousands of dollars per year, which, is like you could spend, I don't know, probably similar amount of time trying to close a commercial deal versus a residential deal. And it's about
Oh
like,
yeah.
the realtor that sells $1 million houses versus the realtor that sells $100,000 houses. The amount of time invested, it's pretty much could be the same, and the outcome, it's very different.
And I think one of the things that I would recommend if you want to go commercial, the first thing you need to do is have a line of credit and make sure that you have at least two payrolls secure in the bank,
Oh, wow.
just so that you have peace of mind that you can cover that. To always have that, because sometimes the check got lost. So by the time you're dealing with pretty big companies, so their accounting department is in LA when you're working in New York. So they have to cancel the check from there. And it takes sometimes it takes, I sometimes had clients that wouldn't pay me for 6 months.
Wow.
So if I had quit on them, and now there's a client that I have that is probably 37% of my clients.
Right.
But at the beginning, they were also growing. So they used to take a very long time.
To
And
pay.
because I was able to have that line of credit, of course, I used my mom's line of credit too. So it was like the entire family. Sometimes it would be like, and I will call them and I'm like, I will go pick up the check. I will go myself. You don't need to FedEx. I will go and pick it up.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And we in the residential world stress when a customer's credit card goes bad for a week. All right. So, what is that secret sauce, if we could say? If somebody could ask you that one question, Diana, tell me your secret sauce to really grow my commercial business to the next level. What do I need to do to really become a big company? What is that one thing you could say, or one or two things you could say to somebody? This is what you really need to do to grow this company.
I think for me was that I never forgot that I was a cleaner and that I always um, wanted to stay close to them. And humanity, I will say, for me was huge.
Hmm.
Treating them with respect. They made my company. So it's not like I wasn't thinking, I never thought I will have a company, in so many states, or being able to do that, or work with vendors from so many, learn from other people. And one of the things is making sure that you treat your team as part of your family, that they don't feel that you're just the boss and there to win, win, win all the time.
And
I
what
will
do you
make
do
sure they get their
exactly for them?
paycheck.
What do you do for them to kind of make them feel like family?
So at the beginning, sorry,
No worries.
when we were smaller, I will have picnics for them, company parties, bring them to our home when it was like under 10 employees. Then when I started getting the subcontractors, I will have my subcontractors, host for them to host something for their team, and we will come and, kind of like know them, right? Because they weren't my employees directly, but I wanted to make sure that they were experiencing what was important for me. Again, we're going back to those values. So when you have your values set and clear, it's easier to make decisions that way.
Right.
And it's easier to pass that along to the entire company. So some of the people that are being with me are from the beginning, from day one. My first
Wow.
employees is still working for the company, and making sure that they're okay if they need a loan. And even if I don't have the money, I'll make sure I'm there to help them. Even if it's not me, it's someone from the team. If one of the girls that needed um, a letter because her son was having issues in at school and she didn't speak English and she needed to speak to the teacher, we will have somebody from our office, a supervisor, a
Oh, wow.
driver, or somebody from logistics, whatever they need, they can count on us. So a lot of the times was moms getting letters from the school, and we will tell them, if you don't understand, just come to us. And that's when the idea of providing English classes for them was born, like giving
Oh.
them a benefit that they can do from home. So we were doing English classes through Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
We hire a company that has teachers from other countries. So I love the idea of providing work for other people in other countries, at the same time here benefit from them. So one of the things we were able to afford it, because we can hire a teacher, we couldn't afford hiring a teacher full-time here, but that way we found someone that can do it from another country through like FaceTime or Zoom,
Right.
providing them with English classes and also Spanish classes, right? So some of the supervisors that didn't speak Spanish, they were learning Spanish, and our cleaners were learning English. So it was it's pretty cool when they were all practicing with each other and they felt part of the family. And it's harder for them to leave you when they're
Oh,
having so much fun and
definitely.
learning and growing as as a person, right? Because you're not just there to clean, you're also learning, and it just becomes like they care about me, right?
Definitely.
And
You're really
without them,
creating.
without them, they wouldn't be a company. So if you want to grow big, you've got to take care of them.
Perfect. So that's really what you explain about the concept of humanity. You mentioned that in the event in Chicago. Can you explain more about that bigger concept or vision that you have about humanity?
So humanity for me is making sure that we treat them, not only make them feel special because they are. Without
Hmm.
them, it wouldn't be a company. I can be the best salesperson in the world. A
Right.
car salesman has cars there, right?
Yeah.
But our product are people. Like we need them.
Yeah.
So if you're just so cocky and you think that you're paying them and then they owe you something, there's 100 other jobs that they can go.
Oh, yeah.
But when
Definitely.
you give them that respect, and most importantly, learn to listen. Because when we are the owners and we're so busy with 100 things, we can't, even if you look at the person for a minute, but look at them in the eyes, that connection that you're paying attention, that you care, is going to make a difference the day that person is going to call out sick. They're going to know that you care about them. They're going to know that you're paying attention to their needs. And sometimes it gets hard at this point with so many different cities and different vendors that I have and different contractors that I use. And because they're not, even though they're not my employees directly, if I use a subcontractor, if I
Right.
go to a property and I know they're representing my company, I will try to give them 5 minutes, ask them about their kids, and just try to remember, because people care. It will make the difference. It will make a huge difference the day, even if they offer them an extra 50 cents, an extra 75 cents an hour somewhere else. If
Right.
they felt important, if they feel part of a team, it will make a difference.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you. The the next question I have, somebody's posted a question here. That's talking about your cleaners, your technicians. How does your sales or ops team looks like? I mean, how many people you have for sales, for operations, managers? I mean, can you share more about that structure to really sustain such a large amount of employees?
So for sales, I want to say it's just me. Sales, I think it's just me. That's how it started.
Right.
And then it was just word of mouth with our clients. Supervisors, we have our own supervisors, but we also require that if we're hiring a subcontractor, that they have their own supervisors. So our supervisors will get in touch with them. And even
Right.
if they're another company we're hiring, we make sure it's clear our values, what is important to us, and that those
Okay.
people are being taken care. So we have our supervisors have talks with them, like, how do you feel? Because we're the ones speaking to the clients.
Right.
So we will talk to the clients and we know exactly what they're looking for. And we want to make sure that people understand. And one of the things that we started implementing a few years ago, because we noticed that lack of communication, when you start growing and then you have a receptionist, a supervisor, then the supervisors had to tell another supervisor, and then that supervisor had to tell the cleaner or the lean cleaner, and then he tells another cleaner, then everything gets lost and you're playing a lost connection there. So one of the things we do is tell me what did you understand of what I just said.
Okay.
Always double check that, because a client can be telling you, I left the dog in the bedroom, make sure that they don't let it out. But then by the time he got to the cleaner said, oh, make sure you let the dog out. So it's
Yeah.
incredible. It's incredible how communications get lost when there's so many people. So by always cross-checking, making sure, what did you understand of what I just said? Yes, you'll be surprised, because you said one thing and people will tell you
Yeah.
no, and they will tell you something else. And if you didn't check that, it's going to be a disaster. And then the client is
Totally.
going to call you and say, but I told you not to do it. And you're so embarrassed, you don't even know what to say. And one of the other things is, don't make excuses. When it's time to own your mistakes, just own it. That goes better with clients than if you just create an excuse for your team.
Yeah, definitely. That message, it's the broken telephone game that, people start with the message here, and after six, five people, the message is completely different. And it happens, in every business, and communication is really a big problem, especially when you have people that some understand English, some don't, and then all these levels of management up to they hit the cleaner, but at that moment the message is completely different, and a mistake could happen. And now that you mentioned the dog, it happened to me that it was directly with our cleaner. This person, her instruction was leave the door open so the cat can come out of the room and just roam around the house, because the owner won't be there for 2 weeks. And then she understood otherwise, and she locked the door. The cat stayed there for 2 weeks while the client was traveling, and the cat just basically did all kinds of things in their clothes, in their bed. It damaged the carpet, it damaged her clothes, and worst of it, when the client comes in, the cat is almost dying on the floor because the cat hasn't eaten in 2 weeks, hasn't drank any water in 2 weeks. So that I end up getting that call. It's like, hey, you guys are almost killed my cat. I'm gonna bring him to the emergency or the doctor, the vet. And we end up paying for a bill upwards of $2,500 for basically misinterpretation of an instruction, which is just leave the door open for the cat to come out. So that is one of my issues that I had a couple of years ago, and I still remember that call from that client. And the worst thing is, like, the client is like, look, the hats that this cat damaged me, I brought them from Australia, they're very expensive, so we end up also paying for some damages on her clothing. And no, it was a complete mess. So it was a quick story here to make fun of this topic, but it happens a lot and is very common. All right, so tell me about some of your retention strategies. You mentioned some, obviously English classes, making them feel like family. But there's anything more specific that you guys are always making sure it happens? that's like clockwork. Nobody can forget about this. I mean, I'm sure with this so many employees, you have to almost have like a party every week and a birthday every week. How do you make sure that all these people are happy in the company, if we can say that?
Well, with our team, we do the birthdays. We collect money. All of us just collect money and give them. Everybody gets a gift. We have a budget, and that's how we do it. For the subcontractors, employees, we tell them, we can share with them what is important to us. A lot of them started implementing that,
Right.
and if we see that, our supervisor goes to the property, one of their employees is its birthday and they haven't done anything, so we will send our vendor an email just reminding them to make sure that we want to make sure they're being taken care and somebody's acknowledging them. But I do
Okay.
now with the I know that with the application that I just got from Pop Hire, it reminds you as well of that. So that's a huge help.
Yeah, we've noticed that people, most business owners always forget, even with small teams, 5 people, 10 people, they always forget about birthdays and anniversaries. And it's because, in the onboarding process, nobody puts a note in their calendar to remember in 1 year this birthday or this anniversary. And that is something that I was guilt. I had that same issue myself of not remembering this and always being on the reactive mode. 3 days later, hey, I'm sorry for your birthday. Congratulations. But now, when I use Pipehire, basically, I have this reminder constantly of that message of their birthday and their anniversary. And this makes it so easy for us to really keep everyone days before, send them a message, and make sure that they're happy with that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Let me see if there's any questions. If you guys want to post any questions, let me view here my messages. How does your HR department look like? What's the management infrastructure needed to manage 500 people? What is
We
what
use
is
we use um we use ADP, and they have an HR as well to help us with the different regulations for the different states.
Oh yeah.
It's just constantly learning and constantly, um, going to classes and new changes of laws. So just they help us by stay up to date. That they have that service.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you use their HR departments. Yeah, that's a good idea. It's too
Mm-hmm.
complex to manage. How many, you said you're in 6 states, right?
6 states,
Okay, yeah.
and every client is different. So if my client is going there and they call us and we're not in that area, I'll just try to get a subcontractor from the area. So I will go to the area, visit other buildings, see what companies are working in the area, see what they're doing, and just interview different companies and see who fits with us, whose values are aligned with us. So I try not to, and I always try to tell my clients when they have an emergency, they want it right away. So I can help them with emergencies, of course, but at the end of the day, I always try to tell them that if they want someone that is going to be working in their buildings, right? And like I said, these are people homes. You want to take the time to get the right people. And one of the things that the reasons I was able to grow, I believe, is because I can fix problems for them. I can help them. I make things happen. So they appreciate that. And I have found partnerships with other companies that feel the same way, business owners that love what they do, give them 110%, and everybody wins when you work together. And that has been, I guess, the key to grow, to be working with other cleaning companies, working with making sure that they understand your values and that they're going to be treating their people the same way.
Right. What percentage of your total employee count or worker count is your W-2s and independent contractors? What is that distribution of percentage wise, if you
I'm
can share
sorry,
that?
I have no idea at this point. I don't know. I don't have that information with me.
Okay, no worries. All right. Do you want to add anything, Diana, that you want to close with that could, help people here listening? Any last word of advice? Anything, how they can find you, and just in general, kind of closing message for the people that are listening to this webinar?
Um, no, I mean, if anybody has another question, but I think, like I said, the easiest thing to do will be to have your values very clear and what you want your team to, how you want your clients to see you. And then whoever works under your umbrella uh, should be following that and making sure that that's clear.
Perfect.
I think that's very important.
All right. Awesome. Thank you, Diana, for your time today. And we'll be chatting and stay in touch. And thank you again for today. And I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for attending today.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.